Hello YouTube, welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm Anna Delvey and today I'm reviewing The Tinder Swindler, which links very nicely with the Netflix limited series Inventing Anna. The Tinder Swindler is a Netflix documentary film, and it also links quite nicely to La Belle Sauvage and The Place of Women. We're going to look at first is the fact that Simon Levy is a con artist. His main thing is using the Tinder app to get women to take out massive loans and credit cards to fund his lifestyle. Now this brings us back to Anna Sorkin and the Moroccan holiday. Rachel had two credit cards, her personal one and her work one. Had she not put both of them down to secure the hotel and to pay for their visit to the Yves Saint Laurent Gardens and house tour, they would have been, as a group, all put in jail. And that's really important. Anna Sorkin, at her trial, was found not guilty for defrauding Rachel. And that's really important when we look at Simon Levy. Simon Levy, it appears that he's an Orthodox Jew. And what we know about Orthodox Jews is their culture is very restrictive. So you can't have phones, you can't have designer clothes, you can't have this, you can't have that, you can't have this, that, the other, because they follow the Torah, which is the Old Testament, to the law. It's the first 5 books of the Old Testament to the letter of the law. So there's things that they can't have. And I'm guessing that Simon found them quite restrictive rather than liberating. So he left and basically defrauded a load of women on Tinder. How did he do it? He was very, very selective. The 3 women, Cecily, Pernina and Eilina, were all from the similar socioeconomic background, and he used their Instagrams and he used Google to check and make sure. Because very sensibly, if you're meeting anybody online, whether you're an adult or not, you should always Google them to see who they are, to find a little bit about them, to make you feel safe. If you are going to meet somebody you've met online, please do take a friend with you. And if you are a child, tell a parent or guardian. I'm putting that out there because this is really dodgy stuff. Yeah? I mean, it's quite frightening what goes on, and particularly with Tinder, because these people are strangers, because they can write anything, as Simon has proven. And the reaction to the women who fell for Simon was actually really negative, because some said, oh, they were naive, they should have thought about it. And I'm like, well, if you're in a chat with that person and you think they're very material and you think that you're in a relationship, money does come up, and people do have joint accounts and people do share credit cards if you're in a relationship. So judging these women that way is not helpful. It's like saying, oh, don't be so naive. And I'm like, well, historically, women and men who are in relationships have shared financial troubles together. And if you're planning on moving in, as Simon was with some of these women, he made them look at apartments, he was putting down payments, he was going to live with them, you know, as a couple, because he claimed to be the Prince of Diamonds from the Levi Diamond family, which is a common con, because I've had several of hello beautifuls, and you just sort of think, if anybody messages you with hello beautiful, just delete them and block them. Run a mile, protect yourself and your family. If it seems dodgy, it is dodgy. And that's just off Facebook and Insta. Never mind Tinder, which is an app I have never been on and I now never ever want to go on at all. It's absolutely frightening, because he terrified these women just with the power of the phone, through a message, just with the English language, because they were reading text. Yes, he was also sending voice clippets, but it is really quite frightening what he managed to do and how people allowed it, because at the end of the day, they're just words that somebody's written. You do not know the emotional tone that goes with them. So I find it quite easily to just go, delete. Because you're protecting yourself, and people say, oh, you're harsh, how can you be so unfeeling? And I'm like, well, I don't know this person. They could be a little old Russian man or a little old lady who lives in Asia, for all I know. Just because their profile picture is that of a shiny pony doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to look like a shiny pony, because they're going to be a human being. Come on. People need to wake up and use their intelligence, but he took advantage because these women met him on a dating site so that they thought that he was available. Some really strange behaviour, like the woman who had a child with him was also involved. So not only had he dobbed her in and took her money and they had a child together, but she also helped him dob other women in to fund his lifestyle with his fancy cars and his 4-star and 5-star hotels and his dinner parties and goodness knows what, and his private jets. It's really quite frightening. All these people in the VIP bracket need to protect themselves, which is actually quite frightening for new people who've come into money to actually break into that area, because now everybody's going to look at them and go, you're another Anna Delvey. You're another Simon Levy. Do you belong? And when you actually look at the lives of rich and famous people, do they wear Gucci all the time? Or do they wear this, that, or the other? No, they mix and match. They do not just stick to one brand, and they don't have the best of the best of the best all the time, because that is unsustainable economically. And I mean, what in earth is the difference? A burger is a burger. Quality, yes, but do you want to spend £1,000 on one burger, or do you want to get one for 20 quid? Let me think. I'm going to get the one with the 20 quid tagline if I'm in that top income bracket, because I want to save some money. It's crazy. Absolutely crazy. This guy manipulated these women, and it was quite frightening because he used his bodyguard and he used his business partner to do it. And what is really frightening is Anna Sorkin got 4 to 12 years for it. Simon didn't even get a year. He got like 6 months. He's been revolving around in prison with this white collar con stuff for years. The laws regarding white collar crime and defrauding and fraud need to be tightened, because it's destroying people's lives financially, which will impact their life choices going ahead. This is not the same as getting stabbed in the arm and maiming somebody and cutting somebody's arm off, but you might as well have, because you've destroyed their credit rating, which long term has the most devastating impact upon a person. These 3 women, Simon didn't go to jail for them, like Anna Sorkin didn't go to jail for frauding Rachel from a Moroccan holiday. It's quite incredible because Simon Levy is global and he's open and he's working 24/7 on all these platforms, which means that your national police force with those laws for one country cannot deal with him, because there are not laws to govern behaviour on social media sites, because it's guidelines. So I do not know how we're going to police this going forward. It is really quite frightening. I enjoyed the Tinder Swindler documentary film. I always like a good documentary. This was juicy and it did draw you in, but my goodness, it's frightening. You've got to be so careful of being scammed now. And this is quite frightening because it means that people are not going to trust people that they meet online. And you never should have trusted them unless you know their friend from school. But saying that a friend from school can also defraud you, so you're not safe there. You have got to be careful, and oh my goodness, this documentary highlighted so much. People do not use private jets all the time. They do not wear top branded clothes all the time. If they do, something is wrong and off. I'm just astounded at his behaviour and the fact that he was not put in jail for any length of time. In fact, he's still out there now and able to do this. He is on Tinder as I am filming this. It's quite frightening. I'm giving the documentary 5 out of 5. Inventing Anna, the limited series, also 5 out of 5. La Belle Sauvage play, 5 out of 5 though. Yeah. Did I give it 4? Can't remember. That's not the point. How women are treated and used by men matters. And why do I say that? Well, Anna Sorkin was seen as a little baby doll, Russian, German heiress. And people saw her and they saw dollar signs in front of their eyes. They didn't see that they were being swindled. And it's the same with these 3 women. They saw Simon, he ticked all their boxes, rich, successful, living the lifestyle, having a great Insta, son of a diamond magnate, yeah, I'll have him. It's like people are not dating real people. It's like they're going shopping at Waitrose going, I want this person and I want them to be a size 10 with great cheekbones and really rich because that will support me and make me look great. I'm like, really? Is everybody that shallow? Have we all become our own brand? It's quite scary because that means that people aren't looking for true companionship or friendship or love in their relationships. They're looking at relationships like, how is this person going to make me look good? And I'm like, is that the basis for a loving and happy marriage or a loving and happy relationship? I don't think so. Do people just hook up because I want a great Instagram photo? That's really worrying. And we need to take a good long look at ourselves as adults. We do. How have we ended up this way? They say, oh, the children and the young people, it's the millennials. I'm like, stop blaming millennials. Millennials are 40. And don't blame Generation Z either, because they're in their late 20s. Whose problem is this? Is it the people that invent this? Should we blame Mark Zuckerberg for giving us Facebook? I mean, because Facebook, let's face it, started off as, oh, this person's a 10, this person's a 6. On, you know, a USA university college campus for rating people. That's how all this started. People forget. I think people have got to be really careful. Do not give out any financial information. Do not trust everybody you meet online. And if you feel that it's wrong, delete and block them. It's the only safe and sane solution to protect your own mental health and to protect you. That's what you've got to do. Nobody else is going to do it for you. You are the first line of defence in protecting yourself online. It's your social media account. You decide who you connect with and whether you like them or not. And if they're a genuine person, whoopee. If they're not, then you're only setting yourself up for a fall. But if you look at it that way, it means that the law doesn't come into this, which is also wrong because the platforms have got to have some responsibility because they're offering a service and users are using, but does not that platform have a duty of care towards its service users? Because I'm sure that Pernina and Alina and Cecilia and whatever their names are, when they signed up to Tinder, they were hoping to get dates. They were not hoping to get £50,000 in debt, which has affected their whole credit rating, and they're still paying it off. Well, poor Anna Sorkin is in jail, but yet she got found not guilty for defrauding Rachel on the Moroccan holiday because it was Rachel's choice whether she used her work credit card or a personal credit card at all. So reasonable doubt, because remember the judge said if you have any doubt of whether Anna manipulated or was going to fraud them, because remember, had Rachel not put those credit cards down, those 3 people would have been put in jail. So any sane person would have put their credit card down because the situation was so tight. If she'd have refused, that all 3 of them would have ended up in jail. And that's worth mentioning. Simon scared these women with scary pictures of his supposed bodyguard being stabbed in the head. It was terrifying to do that to people. Absolutely terrifying. Because yes, you're sharing your life, and I'm sure it does happen. But at some point, if you're that powerful with that much money, surely you would go to the police, because even millionaires and billionaires involve the police in their dealings because their security team tells them to. I rest my case, but they do. Or their security team liaises with the police and the police may or may not give them information. Yeah? Rich people follow the system. Admittedly, it's slightly easier, but there are still things that they have to do If somebody's security is that bad that they get stabbed, you've got to question, well, have you got competent security? Who are these enemies? Because the diamond industry is brutal. But you wouldn't tell your girlfriend that, would you? You know, somebody that you've just met and you've taken one private jet and had a coffee with. It's crazy. I mean, who takes a private jet to have a coffee with one person without having business in that city? That's crazy. That's not rational behaviour. Because even billionaires have to protect their money. They do a Zoom call. Loads of people, top CEOs and billionaires, have been using Zoom technology for 40 years. I'm sure of it, before it became mainstream. Thank you, COVID pandemic. You know, they've been doing that to save money. Why should they travel? Or they'd go into the office and have a business meeting and have a Zoom call that way. They would not take their private jet to do it, or they'd travel, you know, business class. They wouldn't take a private jet to do that unless they've got something to hide. Alarm bells, we need to think things through logically. But that's easy to say, because if you're in love with someone, then you trust them, don't you? It really is worrying. And overall, I found the whole thing quite frightening and alarming. 5 out of 5, excellent documentary and very current. Please like, comment and subscribe, and I hope you stay safe, because it's really important, whether that be online, offline, avoiding microbes, avoiding storms, locusts, because remember in 2020 we did have a plague of locusts. I'm just pointing that out. Climate change, whatever next. There's a hell of a lot of stuff happening in the world that is terrifying. And that's okay, because terrifying things happen every day. Also happy things. I had cake today. Cake was nice. Is it likely that if you step out of your house you could get run over by a bus? Well, are you on a bus route? We've got to think these things through and get some proportion in our lives and think, do I need to unplug? Anyway, stay safe.